Well, Deb Murphy filed this following report for Sierra Wave Media. After nearly 8 years, multiple trips to Sacramento, public information meetings, and nearly 10 hours of the final public hearing, the Adventure Trails passed the Inyo County Board of Supervisors last Thursday evening. Now, what passed is a pilot program whittled down to 7 routes with stringent implementation procedures, but it passed, and with unanimous support of the 5 Inyo County supervisors. Now, still to come is approval by the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power on 4 of the 7 routes that cross the department's lands. Now, that will take 3 to 6 months. And additionally, the Inyo County Public Works Department will have to establish a baseline through aerial photography and develop monitoring, signage, and education programs to hopefully mitigate any negative impacts of what is assumed to be increased use of off-highway vehicle areas. Now, the meeting was held at the Independence Legion Hall to accommodate a standing room only crowd, fairly evenly divided into pro and con camps, separated voluntarily by a center aisle. Board Chairman Matt Kingsley began the hearing by expressing his appreciation for an engaged public and asked for respect from both sides of the issue. Now, at the request of Dick Knowles, who has wrestled this project over hurdles since 2007, the Adventure Trails project was reduced from 36 proposed routes to just 8. 4 days prior to Thursday's scheduled meeting. The 8th route from Aberdeen to the Tinnemaha campground had been changed, and with an endpoint closer to the Aberdeen store than originally presented. Now, the altered route, Aberdeen number 3, will require additional environmental scrutiny before the board votes for approval or not. Now, the 7 approved routes are Bishop, Route 5, and that starts at Brownstown, south of town, and ends at Polita OHV recreational area. Bishop, Route 6, that one starts at the Pleasant Valley Campground and ends at Horton Creek Campground. Bishop, Route 7, starts at Pleasant Valley Campground and ends at Tungsten Road. Bishop, Route 9, starts at Brownstown and ends on Burr Road. Bishop, Route 15, starts at Laws and ends at the Polita OHV recreational area. Also in Independence, Route 1 starts in downtown Independence and ends at Mazurka Canyon Road. Lone Pine, Route 1, starts at Boulder Creek and ends at Horseshoe Meadow Road. Now, the 17 speakers in favor of the Adventure Trails focused on the economic value of increased tourism and access for those unable to get to open lands on foot. The 26 speakers opposed to the project cited negative environmental impacts, called the California Environmental Quality Act documents flawed, and urged the board not to certify the document, the first step required for this project to pass. Now, following the public comment period, Inyo Supervisor Dan Tothero posed several questions to Joe Gibson from Meridian Consultants. This was on the adequacy of the CEQA documents his firm prepared. Now, according to Gibson, the documents are judged on their adequacy, not their perfection, and the definition of adequacy is to be judged by the voting body or ultimately the courts. Inyo Supervisor Jeff Griffiths came up with a list of recommendations to strengthen the implementation procedures. Now, based on Griffiths' recommendations, Inyo Supervisor Mark Tillemans made the motion to approve the CEQA documents, and the motion passed unanimously. Kingsley called for a discussion of objections to the 7 final routes, and receiving no objections, the motion was made to pass the routes with the inclusion of Griffiths' recommendations, and that motion passed 5-0. Now, you can see much more on this story, a fine report by Deb Murphy, on our website, sierrawave.net. And now to some on-highway vehicles. We're getting information that Tesla's commissioning team will be on location at the new Tesla supercharging station. It's going to be located at the Lone Pine Film History Museum, scheduled to take place Tuesday morning from approximately 9 until noon. They're going to run tests and open the charging facility to Tesla drivers along Highway 395. Additional stations are under construction at Inyo, Kern, and Mojave. Future stations are in negotiations, so Tesla owns owners can travel the full length of Highway 395. Also, a Tesla Model S will be at the location for testing purposes through the morning and for the public to see afternoon. Now, a press release notes that Tesla drivers on Highway 395 can now recharge for free while visiting one of America's finest museums dedicated exclusively to the heritage of Western cowboy filmmaking, and then enjoy the taste of Lone Pine's many eateries. Now, Tesla's business model includes building a network of fast charging stations faster than any other electric vehicle manufacturer along the major interstates around the country to enable Tesla owners to travel from city to city. Tesla offers the charging services for free, making these superchargers a gathering place for members of the Tesla owners community. Now, landing a Tesla supercharging station in Lone Pine is just one of the many advantages of being located along Highway 395, according to that press release. And while charging your car, you can visit the Lone Pine Film History Museum and the great town of Lone Pine. Hey, for more information on the new Tesla supercharging station and the Lone Pine Film History Museum, see the museum website, lonepinefilmhistorymuseum.org. And Deb Murphy filed this story for Sierra Wave Media. The skeleton of a new Big Pine Volunteer Fire Department building is rising from the side of the old county library on Main Street and will house the department's fire engines by March, if not earlier. The old garage's 8-foot doors could no longer accommodate a new 10-foot engine, and with warm weather helping, the Rudolph construction crews completed the metal building ahead of schedule. That, according to Big Pine Volunteer Fire Department Chief Damon Carrington. He anticipates the engines will move to the new building sometime next month. Now, the frugal fire district was able to foot the $352,000 bill from its savings. Now, the finished 2,000 square foot building will be faced with what Carrington described as fake river rock on the front and south side. Work started in December on land owned by Inyo County and sold to the Big Pine Volunteer Fire Department in July for $1. Now, the County Board of Supervisors also waived building permit fees estimated at $5,200. Now, according to Chief Carrington, the board said they wanted to see the department use the funds on capital improvements and equipment purchases, and that's what the department plans to do. Now, with two engines over 30 years old, the department plans to replace a structure fire engine with a used Bureau of Land Management Type 3 dual-purpose structure and wildland fire truck with more water and pump capacity. Now, next on the agenda is a new Type 2 engine, also dual purpose, that Carrington hopes to buy with the help of a FEMA Assistance to Firefighters grant. Now, the used BLM engine will cost around $40,000. The Type 2 engine is valued at $355,000, but with the grant funding, the department will only have to come up with $50,000. Big Pine has seen its share of devastating wildland fires over the last few years, and with the addition of dual-purpose engines, the firefighters will have the tools to get a handle on wildland fires as first responders. Now, the department's future plans include remodeling the original fire station to include meeting rooms, offices, an updated kitchen, dispatch rooms, and bathrooms. That station and parking lot sits on a City of Los Angeles lease. Big Pine is now nearing the end of a 10-year effort to purchase the land. We thank Deb Murphy for that report, and we'll be back with more news.